Here are the top posts from Who Would Win on the 21st of November 2019. Crimson Embrace. Kratos is teleported into the MCU and decides to kill everyone. How far does he get until he's stopped? If he is stopped at all?
Younger 33ZY. Kratos easily smashes the entire MCU, Thanos included. Unless Thanos does some Infinity Gauntlet magic before Kratos can reach him or something. IDK how he is going to kill the entire population of anything though. Would take far too much time to put even a dent in the global birth rate. Unless you give him the god size and stuff from GOW2 before he got stripped by Athena. This aside from what I said above. I may be remembering wrong, but I believe Kratos was moving faster than light to defeat Helios. That's a pretty big edge.
Luppy 131. I love how nobody on here is even remotely considering Thor's chances in this battle. Even though awakened Thor is on some goddamn crazy power levels. Is it because we all know that Kratos is gonna be pimp-slapping the ever-living shit out of Thor in a year or two?
Chicken salads. Kratos would definitely defeat all of the MCU both rounds, but if you were talking about Marvel Comics then he would be smashed. Peculiar Pangolin Man. A man has an infectious hive mind. Can the world stop him before he takes over?
Kosher Bacon 79. Doing the math, it will take less than a year for him to spread to everyone. Assuming people don't know about him, he should be able to pull it off in under 5 years. Once he has 95% of the world, he should be able to kill the rest easily. Like Plague Inc., basically. Femio. Is this research for a story you're writing? There's not really anything we can do to stop him at all.
Jude. The man can infect one person a day. An infected can infect another person at a rate of 1 per week. Using these two pieces of information, we can calculate and figure out how long it would take to infect 7.7 billion people. That time would be the fastest possible time, because it assumes that every infected person can find a non-infected person and infect them at the fastest possible rate of 1 per week. And the same for the man at a rate of 1 per day with no interference. I'm not going to calculate that time, but if someone would like to, feel free. If that time is greater than 50 years, he auto-loses before he can even start, as he's constrained by the first 2 bullet points. If that time is less than 50 years, he can potentially win if and only everything if is streamlined to perfection with no interference.
Peculiar Pangolin Man. Jason Voorhees. Friday the 13th. Michael Myers. Halloween. Jigsaw. Saw. And Hannibal Lecter. Silence of the Lambs. Join the Sawyer family. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Who is the weakest character that could escape from this new family?
Arrogancy Games. Main issue here is Michael and the traps. And maybe Hannibal as an X-Factor. Human Jason is really easy to be put down. Really. He basically only has ambush kills and has more anti-feats of strength than not. Part 2 Jason is literally shorter than me at 6 feet and equally wrestles with regular dudes, while being slow as dirt with a really goofy bad gate run. And he's weak to bullets. Nobody ever bothered shooting Human Jason. So simply having a gun and shooting him has no reason not to work. Leatherface. Same thing. Heck, if you shot him in the shoulder or something, he'd start screaming and spinning around in circles as to how he reacts to pain. That works for all of the Sawyers. Really depends on Jigsaw's traps. Some of his traps are doable if you really pay attention and don't flip out. Some are even beaten with no or little pain. Some are complete crap and would possibly kill you from trying to escape them. I.e., bleeding out from the ones in which you delimb yourself. So that's a big question. Michael is really hard to put down. I guess you can behead him after stunning him, and shooting him enough at least stuns him for a minute. But he has variable tanking abilities. Lecter is really an X-Factor. He will be able to out-hand-to-hand a normal person and show Hannibal can be really sneaky. So I'd basically put it at a mid-level comic peak human for the speed and skill to beat Michael and Hannibal, and the smarts to get through the traps without screwing themselves over. Something like a Tim Drake Robin. See Euler. Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo. Let's take Fred from Mystery Incorporated. He has escaped Saw-esque canon, does fight monsters and has good, and because he is a guy in a Scooby-Doo show, he would be able to outrun the rest of the family in a wacky corridor chase sequence.
Pokemon Mr. MacGyver. He'd kill them with small rodents, kitchen appliances and gardening implements.
Miracle Alien. Who is the weakest person that can fist fight a Metal Gear?
Nitlock. I bet Spider-Man can do it. While not having web shooters would severely limit his mobility, Spidey's sense and agility could get him into range enough to start doing damage to the legs and possibly disabling it from there. His respect thread shows a lifting strength of well over 100,000 pounds. So for the first 2 Metal Gears, he could probably straight up pick them up and throw them, as well as the Shagohod. His striking ability has a showing to be beyond a rocket launcher blast, because he hit Tombstone with all of his might and knocked him out, when a rocket didn't do that earlier in the same story. Consecutive rocket hits were what took out most of the Metal Gears. I'd say Rex and Ray give him the hardest flights, since one of the main deals with them is they're supposed to have an auto lock-on capabilities that were only disabled in the story because of Gray Fox die. If it's an open area, he'd probably lose even with Spidey sense, since most of his speed feats are reaction-based rather than travel-based. So I'm not sure if he could close the distance without something to hide behind. I'd give this 7/10 to Spider-Man, maybe 4/10 if the fights have to be in an open area.
James Muddy. I reckon a 3rd level sorcerer from D&D 5e could do it. Just hide somewhere secure and cast heat metal. If they can't do it cause they'd be seen, then a 9th level sorcerer with greater invisibility could do it instead.
Doot and Dirty. Domon Cashew could probably fist fight Metal Gears.
Grovesley. Can the MCU heroes take down Cthulhu for good? Lord Blizzard 58. ISNT Cthulhu, a star-eating reality warper that causes madness to all that look him. What does the MCU have against that?
Jables Radio. We don't know what Cthulhu is really capable of other than the fact that it has telepathic powers. And people go nuttier than Chinese chicken salad with just a glance of it. Given that, any human minds in the MCU lose all rounds. That leaves Vision, Ultron, possibly Thor, and Loki. Even with prep time we don't know what, if anything, can kill Cthulhu. Certainly not any form of weapons as we currently know, so I don't know what any of those 4 would be able to do. Thanos with the gauntlet stands a decent chance in that he can now control much of which is beyond human possibilities or understanding. Having the ability to manipulate time and matter would be about the only way the MCU could pull a victory.
Heckle Jekyll. Cthulhu cannot be defeated by mortal means, for he is beyond the abilities of mere mortals such as ourselves. Fighting Cthulhu would be like Doctor Strange trying to fight Dormongo at the end of his first movie. Not even possible. The only way the MCU characters stand even a chance in round 4 with the Gauntlet and Power Stones. Anything else is a pure stomp for Cthulhu. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.